Oh, thank you so much, Tammy. That was Tammy Briggs with her therapeutic harp. Welcome to this very heart-based event around the girls' shelter in Guinea for girls who are brave and said no to female genital mutilation and are now homeless as a result. We are so honored and delighted to be here, and we see a lot of friends in our audience. Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is Peace Week for the 99 Days of Peace Through Unity, and it's also Human Rights Day. And we certainly think that this particular event is relevant to the rights of women and girls. So thank you for being here. I'd like to bring Tammy back for a moment because that harp selection is special, and Tammy selected it for our time today. So Tammy.
Thank you, Tez. It's always an honor to work with you and David, and I so appreciate having the opportunity to play. So the first song that I played was actually in the key of F, which is connected to the heart chakra. And so if you felt yourself drop into your heart, it's perhaps because the key of F that's exactly what its intention is. And then I also played the very beautiful lullaby All Through the Night. And as I was practicing yesterday for this event, what came to me is the lullaby All Through the Night for these dear girls. May they be peaceful at night. May they sleep and rest with our beautiful intentions of peace and calm.
Mm-hmm.
So again, Tez, I'm very excited to hear what your program is, and I'm going to turn it back over to you and David.
Thank you so much. And so David is my co-host. I'm Tezekiah Gabriel, and with me is David Wick. We are from Pathways to Peace. David is the president of Pathways to Peace, and I'm the executive director. And we're just honored and delighted to be here. And I would like to say that this event, as all of our events, particularly around Peace Week and Peace Month, we like to dedicate our events to our beloved founder, Avon Madison, who passed 2 years ago. And so Avon is credited with leading efforts with civil society and the UN to bring about the International Day of Peace resolution in 1981, and then worked tirelessly through the remainder of her life to bring peace to our planet and to build a culture of peace. David has been there since the beginning, the 40 years of Pathways to Peace, and we are kind of kicking off our 40-year anniversary during Peace Week as well. So, David, I'm grateful for you. You know, our stories are powerful, and this story is so near and dear to the heart of Pathways to Peace, and for David and myself, that we're just going to bring this out as a story. So before we do that, however, we'd like to begin, as we always do, with just a very brief meditation where we have an opportunity to come into our hearts. So we'd just like you to slow your breathing, to breathe a little bit slower and a little bit deeper, as we just breathe together for a little while, that one breath. the breath that connects us all to all life and the planet herself. And when you feel ready, we'd like you to focus your attention on the center of the chest, the seat of the heart, and to imagine your breath coming in and out through that sacred space. You can't do it wrong, so just settle into it. And now we'd like you to just hold that beautiful heart energy, that peace, that compassion, that kindness, that gratitude, that harmony. Just hold that energy and imagine peace. And we'd like you to bring all that beautiful energy back into this sacred space. Thank you. So at this point, I would like to turn it over to my peace brother, David Wick. You have no sound, David? Oh, you need to be unmuted. Oh,
there we go. We got it now.
Good.
Wonderful. Very good. Well, delighted to be here with you, Tezakaya. Just, Tezakaya is a magnificent executive director and a manifester in so many, many ways. So this is wonderful. And coming together with you and sharing this story, and we will tell the story here, and based on Pathways to Peace. And as mentioned, we're moving into, this is the 40th year of Pathways to Peace. It's a magnificent year, the 40th year that it was incorporated as a nonprofit organization, but it was functioning prior to that. With Avon, I was engaged with Avon in the early workings of Pathways to Peace. Avon Madison and Joni Cardelli were the co-founders of Pathways to Peace. Avon was deeply working with the United Nations prior to that, and was really fundamental in helping to move the decision at the United Nations, working with other people, to declare a resolution of the International Day of Peace. There's a lot of work, a lot of thought behind having a day that is recognized around the world for humanity as an International Day of Peace. And I'll tell a bit of a story behind that. But first, with Pathways to Peace, it is the fundamental is that everybody is a pathway to peace. All of us, each one of us has a role we can play just by choice, but it's the inspiration that we can give to each other in bringing peace and greater harmony into our lives and into our world. One of the fundamentals, which I've always appreciated that Avon had guided us in, was the principles, which states individuals and nations acting in concert do make a difference in the quality of our lives, our institutions, our environment, and our planetary future. Through cooperation, we manifest the essential spirit that unites us amidst our diverse ways. Amidst our diverse ways. So there's diversity, of course. Well, the journey that we're going to talk to you about today is one of really enlivening all aspects of the values of Pathways to Peace. And just about a moment about the International Day of Peace, which is September 21st, this coming Thursday. And each year, it has a theme, and the theme this year is Actions for Peace, and that is focused in on the Sustainable Development Goals of the United Nations, and which is growing, and that focuses to 2030. But that takes many different perspectives in our lives around the world. But it is always with individuals making choices and collectively how we make a choice. So I'll tell a bit of a story here about how we got here and our beginning with a girls' shelter in Guinea, which is delightful and important. So Tezekiah, please.
Yes. Oops, we'll go to, hang on a moment, please. Can you see the slide?
Yes.
Good. So, David, talk to us about how it began.
Well, again, how the interconnected world that we live in, and with electronics and in so many different ways. And let me just say, in the beginning, with the Pathways to Peace and the International Day of Peace, which we founded in 1984, was the first major International Day of Peace in San Francisco. There was computer. So it was fax, it was phone messages, it was all those things. Now, this is an example of our current technology and how this works. I received a message from Sylvanus, this gentleman, well, that was off to the left there, and contacted me on Facebook and said that he's working with children in an orphanage and in a school, and they're working tremendously to give them a life and give them an education, working so hard. And just wanted me to know about that, and any support would be wonderful. Well, I've received different messages on Facebook, and it's kind of like you take it with a bit of a grain of salt at first, but over the year they began, and I was seeing that it was absolutely true. It was real, what they were doing, and you send photos once in a while. And after a year, I told them about, well, and actually around this time, told them about the International Day of Peace, and that the students might be interested in their school. They wholeheartedly embraced the International Day of Peace. They would send messages around peace, and they love peace and about Peace Day. And these are some of the photos that were sent to us. It was just beautiful. And that's Sylvanus in the third picture to the right there. And it was true dedication. And then seeing this, I brought this to Pathways to Peace, bringing it to Tezekiah and saying, take a look at this. Let's see if we can really support this. In which we dove in and said, yes, we will do this, and wholeheartedly. And this is in Guinea. And so again, the wonder of electronics, we could do this. It had communications and set up a way to work with them. And the first, what's happened is that this is last year, the first International Day of Peace, working with them. And here we are a year later, where we're celebrating this. And this is an important part of the story, because we began working with them to create a peace education program. And for the cessation of gender violence, and how this would take a look at how to prevent that. And Tezekiah was deeply involved with this subject and was able to put this together. So working with them, we developed this further, and Sylvanus, what he had to focus on was war on poverty, and actually that became the name of their organization, War on Poverty. And as we stepped into the deeper part of the educational part, we learned about the real issues that they were dealing with female genital mutilation and early marriages. And that was a real note that must be addressed, which Hezekiah really guided us through, and it was just inspiring. So this is when, after we started the education, then that's when the real work began. And Hezekiah, can you tell us more?
I would love to tell you more. So we worked for a number of months around peace education because, as David said, they really wanted to educate their teachers who could educate their kids around peace. And they identified the key areas they needed conversation and training in were female genital mutilation and child marriage. So in that conversation, we asked them, because of course we're working in another country, so we don't come in thinking we are the experts. They are the experts on their culture, on their people, and we bring some training, some expertise. So we always sit with them and ask what their experience is and what they need from us. So it was at that point that gender-based violence became the topic. And in their conversation with us, they shared with us that in their community education themselves around gender-based violence, that they actually had 2 young girls come forward after hearing them and telling them that they had said no to their fathers, their families, their mothers, to female genital mutilation. And so that is the point at which my heart broke open. I contacted David afterwards. In the midst of that conversation, I said, I think we can help you with this. I didn't make any promises because I couldn't. We needed to talk as an organization. So as I said, I contacted David and he said,
absolutely, let's do this. This is necessary. It was really just a no-brainer, because not only is this, what Pathways to Peace is about, but it was with having young girls with the courage stepping forward and going against the grain of the culture in that way. You must step forward and support them. So we said, yes, let's do that. And right now, we have 2 girls who are waiting for the assistance. We said, yes, let's create a shelter and put everything together in a very short amount of time. That's
yes.
Gaia.
Yes. So I think we're going to pause here, and I'm having some technical difficulties, but I do want to see if we can pull up the message from Sylvanus and also the message from Lara, one of the girls, one of the brave girls who came forward. And so let me see if I can get those videos up. Thank you, all of you, for your patience. Don't quite know why that isn't opening, but don't give up yet. Ah, think we're going to be able to make it work.
Very good.
You see it?
Yes.
Bonjour, je reprends au nom de la camarade, je suis de Guinea. C'était dans le mois de janvier quand
Can you hear
maman a
it?
décidé de
Yes.
me faire expliquer. Mais comme moi j'avais eu la chance de participer à un séminaire tenu par M. Sylvanos, qui était basé sur la mutilation féminine, et j'ai refusé catégoriquement le propos de ma maman. Donc ma maman a fait appeler mon grand frère de m'amener chez une prière pour me faire expliquer. Mais avant que mon grand frère ne soit à la maison, j'ai dû quitter à la maison en me cachant dans une maison non achevée. Donc, je suis restée là-bas jusqu'à 21h. Maintenant, je suis rendue chez M. Sylvanos, dont j'ai trouvé une fille au nom de Salimata. Elle a été aussi victime de mon cas. Donc, on est restés ensemble pendant les mois chez M. Sylvanos. Donc, à un moment donné, M. Sylvanos aussi n'avait pas les moyens pour me soutenir. Donc, Salimatou a décidé maintenant d'aller vivre chez son oncle. On n'est pas resté seulement aussi isolé. Je suis allée chez ma copine pour aller vivre là-bas. Mais malgré tout ça, M. Sylvanos nous rendait visite. Comment va les choses, notre état de santé, tout. Donc, on vous demande de l'aide. On vous demande de l'aide. Actuellement, la vie n'est pas facile pour nous. La vie n'est pas du tout facile pour nous. On vous demande de nous soutenir. On vous demande de nous aider. Donc, je vous en prie.
That was Lara. She is the oldest of the two girls waiting for the shelter to open. Salimatu is the younger of the two. And so, yes, the girls are waiting. These girls are so brave. We can't imagine the courage it takes to be able to say no and risk being socially ostracized, being forced to leave your family. It's just, we can't imagine. And so what I always say is now we need to be brave enough to step up and to help. And so that's what we're all about. So David, would you like to add?
Well, yes, this is a great inspiration for Sylvanus and his staff. And they stepped forward and said, because they had been talking to the members of the community, they have established a level of respect in their community. But they stepped forward and to talk more about how important this is. And then with the support of Pathways, have really brought this forward in a major way in the community. They have the top doctor in their region as part of their group, working with the girls and working with this whole approach, as well as, and I don't know if you saw in one of the photos earlier, they have T-shirts and hats about the cessation of gender-based violence, essentially. And so it's not only working with these individuals, but it's also having an impact in a community, and it's shifting there they are. See, they stop the gender-based violence, and this is impacting the community and shifting many years of tradition, which is no longer acceptable. And so they have really having an impact. So that's part of what we're talking about with Pathways to Peace. It is it's local and global, and it's individual and it's systemic. And how do we bring greater peace building and greater consciousness for the well-being of all? And this is a wonderful example of that, and how this has evolved and snowballing. And this is taking it in another level of change with individuals and the community as a whole. So Zekiah, you want to talk about the house that they're getting?
Yes, where we're at today. And so, as David said, once the decision was made that yes, we could not turn a blind eye, we did need to move forward to co-create with our partners in Guinea, the girls' shelter, then the real work began. So we started assembling a team of folks here that were really smart and that could really help. Some of them are in the room, so hopefully you'll be able to hear from them soon here in a moment. And then we put out a fundraising campaign. For us, it was just incredible that we could create not only the shelter, and we thought we'd start with 5 girls, we can expand, we have expansion opportunity, but for 5 girls for a year in a safe house with security, with a cook and a cleaner, with a girls' counselor and mentor, with job training and education, that we could do all that for only $20,000 a year. It felt like we need to do it. Further affirmed that this was just something that we needed to do. And so we started raising funds, and we've so far garnered a little over half of that in our fundraising efforts. And we are just so blown away by the goodwill of the people who have stepped in to provide time, talent, and resources to make this happen. They're the ones that really lift us and support us, along with our incredible people in Guinea. So where are we at now? Well, we found a house. We needed to find a house that was in a place where the girls would be safe. So we found a house in a compound. And when I say we, it's the collective we, because it's really our partners on the ground in Guinea that are doing all of this and are so excited and so engaged. And so we found the house, and it will support our 5 girls very easily. And again, with room for expansion if we need it. And a garden in the courtyard. And I love this little balcony area for the girls as well. And so then, of course, it was time to prepare the space. So you'll see our partners in Guinea in these photos. They were actually in there doing the painting themselves, as well as they recruited help. And so in the left-hand corner of the screen, again, that's Sylvanus. And this person here is another, he is the head of the orphanage in the school, and his name is Joseph. And this is one of the community members that they recruited to paint and prepare that space. They are out buying furniture, beds and furniture and kitchen tools so that we can actually open soon. And it was just decided yesterday that the shelter, the Avon Madison Shelter for Girls in Guinea, will open on Peace Day. September 21st. 1 year after our anniversary, and our first work with them was around Peace Day. And so we're just so honored and delighted that, that this is happening. And there have been so many miracles along the way, so many, many miracles. So maybe I'll just take a moment to speak to some of those. I first want to say that one of the miracles was that our dear Fumi, who is in the room right now, and her team at May Peace Prevail on Earth have donated a peace pole to the girls' shelter. And so, of course, shipping to Guinea is not an easy thing. So we are working out the details about how to get the peace pole there, and they are taking the lead on that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so we'll have another ceremony beyond Peace Day for planting the peace pole. Again, every one of these steps along the way is cause for celebration with our partners in Guinea, who are so excited that they can actually provide this, and so that they can go out and do more of the community education, because they know when girls come forward that they'll have a place to go. So even though we were only a little over halfway through our finances, we felt we had to move forward. Our partners were ready. We had the house, and we have secured funding for about 6 months. So you know we're going to be very busy in raising funds. But the outpouring of love and support for this program just gives us so much inspiration and motivation and hope for the future. So we know that we can do it. We know we can do it. So thank you, all of you who are here. And you've helped us get this far, whether if you really knew it or not, your love that has lifted our planet. This project is rooted in love. And so you are supporting us by just lifting that love frequency on the planet. David?
Well, it comes back to, we all have a role, but we all do it collectively. We do it together. And so this is a way of, touching hearts and sharing possibilities with us. So moving forward is just absolutely wonderful. I appreciate it. So among the other people that we're going to ask, you're mentioning about Victoria. And you want to talk with Victoria?
Yes. So let me just make sure I have covered everyone I wanted to thank so far. You all know who you are, and we will be asking our team members who are in the room to speak as well. And so, another thing is that the same day that we said yes, there was a Unity Earth meeting for planning the 99 Days of Peace. So I brought the girls' shelter because I was still feeling emotional about this and really feeling compelled to move forward, and mentioned it then when Ben called on me. And so the girls' shelter became a mission for the 99 Days of Peace. And it will be accomplished within those 99 days, which seems just unbelievable. So yes, I do want to bring in my beautiful friend, Victoria Friedman. And I'm going to ask Victoria if she would just, first of all, spend a moment talking about why she said yes to coming in and being a part of the team supporting the girls' shelter in Guinea. Victoria? And let's try to unmute Victoria. When we do that, let's see if we can.
There we go. Yes.
Just a minute, and we want to spotlight you, Victoria. Hang on just a moment if we can. So people can see your beautiful face. Victoria has been such an inspiration for me and for the girls' shelter. There you are.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Hezekiah and David, my God, what you do is so amazing. I know you asked me why I would be interested or moved. I don't see why I couldn't be. I really can't imagine anybody who encounters this who would not be really wanting to do something, anything. I really can't imagine that. So, I mean, it was very shocking for me, frankly. I hadn't really heard and had information about this. Somewhere in the back of my mind, perhaps, far away, doing all the wonderful things we're doing and living our lives. This is just, I mean, it's unacceptable. So, it's just unacceptable in our time and, who we are as a species. It's just doesn't seem possible in a way. So I wish I could do more. I don't even think I've done a lot. I asked Hezekiah what I could do. I mean, I'm an artist and I do children's books and I'm involved in communication and circles about spirituality and, our story and what we are doing on this earth. But so we decided I would write a story, not really for publication, because it's just not. And I have to say, I can't say it was fun to write it. And I just have 2 books that just coming out for children that are based on brightness and love and, busting the fog around our world. But this was, it was just a story of a young girl and how she would speak to that. So that I felt I could do that. And I'd love to help out any way I can with the girls there and anybody there who's wanting to do anything creative, so there's a lot of ideas that I'm getting. Just hearing you, Hezekiah and David, just hearing you is like opening up ideas, which I'd love to share. And so it's just amazing work and important, very important.
Yes. And, Victoria, you are always so humble. So actually, when Victoria came to me and asked me if, or told me that she'd like to help Pathways to Peace. And we were in a gathering together. And I asked her the same question I ask everyone, even our young people, when they want to do something to help. I ask, well, what would make your heart sing? And Victoria said, well, there are a lot of things that make my heart sing, but what do you need me to do? So I said, well, let's just both hold that energy. And I know something is going to come up. And so then the girls' shelter. And then it was like, we want Victoria to tell this story from the perspective of a young girl. And Victoria is, as you know, an international children's book author, and her illustrations are just gorgeous as well. So what we're going to do today is to tell that story. And we're going to tell it pretty quickly, I think, because we don't have a lot of time and we want to hear from some other people who are here in the room before we close and let the next group come in. So with that, let's move to Fatima's story.
Okay. So everyone, once upon a time, in a strange land far away, a sparkling being was born as a girl. She was named Fatima. Now the land she was born in was under a spell. The spell was that every girl that grew up there sooner or later had to have the cutting.
Although female genital mutilation, or FGM, appears to be decreasing worldwide, this is not the case in Guinea, where this practice is widespread in every region and among every ethnic, religious, and social group. Guinea has the second highest rate of FGM in the world. 97% of young girls in Guinea will experience this torturous practice. As a patriarchal society, FGM is firmly embedded in the culture of Guinea and has been practiced for over 2,000 years.
When Fatima was around 3 years old, she started hearing about the cutting. Her parents and sisters did not say much, but whatever it was, it sounded bad. As she got older, she heard more and more, and she began to be afraid. When she was 10, she begged her sisters to explain to her what was coming. They told her that there was a very private part of her that had to be cut so someone would marry her. Fatima never imagined that it would be about her own body. She was horror-stricken.
FGM refers to all procedures involving partial or total removal of the external female genitalia or other injury to the female genital organs. It is usually performed on girls from birth to age 15. Girls may die at the time of cutting from hemorrhage or infection. For those who survive, the significant physical, psychological, and sexual consequences of female genital mutilation are painful and lifelong.
Fatima approached her parents. Her father explained that the cutting will help her belong in the community and get married. Her mother said it would curb her sexual desires and keep her clean. They were convinced of the benefits.
In Guinea, FGM is deemed important for good marriage and to ensure fidelity in marriage. FGM will support polygamy and child marriage, and Guineans believe FGM will reduce the likelihood of premarital sex, making the young girl more marriageable. FGM is often a prerequisite for marriage. Because women are largely dependent on men in Guinea, economic necessity is a major driver of FGM as well.
Still shaking and gripped by fear, she sought out the imam, a teacher of her Islam religion. He told her that Islam upholds the holiness of the human body and that the cutting is not spoken of in the Quran.
Although FGM is not endorsed by either Islam or by Christianity, religious doctrine is often used to justify the practice. Not all Islamic groups practice FGM, and many non-Islamic groups do. FGM is a cultural rather than a religious practice.
She ran away on a dusty road. She chose a tree and hauled herself up into the branches. She spent a long night squinting into the darkness and jumping at sounds, but she refused to climb down and go home. There was danger in the dark, but the dread of the cutting felt even more terrifying.
For girls refusing FGM, there can be severe social consequences. Girls that say no are often rejected by their families, are considered to be a disgrace, and are outcasts in their community. They may also be denied the right to be seen or recognized in public.
She spent days walking with no food or water, foraging in the bush. After a week, dirty, bruised, and fatigued. She saw a woman walking towards her. The woman picked her up and took her to the girls' shelter. She saw the girls in the yard. The girls ran to her and led her into the shelter. She was safe.
And that is the end of Fatima's story. It's a happy ending because of the girls' shelter. Our partners in Guinea are compassionate, wise, and brave, and they stand to end gender-based violence in the practice of FGM. We support them as we move forward in creating this safe space for these very brave girls to come forward and receive the care and the compassion and the resources they need to live a happy and healthy life. David.
This is a story that touches all of us. This is humanity. This is humanity and in our evolution and moving forward to greater compassion and understanding and courage to make the changes that are necessary and that support all people and the young women, young girls, which is critical. The support for women and girls is a vital need for our evolution, for the saving our planet. So this is part of that. We can. This is something we can do, and so we do it. Hezekiah.
Thank you. We are lucky, and we have just a few minutes, about 5 minutes, to ask our team members in the audience if they would share a few of their thoughts about what the girls' shelter means to them and why they said yes to being on our team around advancing the co-creation of this shelter. So let me see if I can find you all. Catherine. Catherine is one of our student reps to the UN. Catherine?
Hi. Hi, Tess. Am I good to?
Yes, we can hear you.
I got involved in this project because it affects girls like myself. I grown up in America. I was born here. I've been very privileged because of that. However, not everyone is. Not so many girls are subject to this brutal practice. And I wanted to be able to help girls like myself from all over the world escape and be able to live their lives without this. I can't imagine what it's like to grow up in a culture that expects that of you and pressures you to do things that harm yourself and hurt your body. But I do know that I wouldn't like to grow up in that. And I really just want to help them be able to escape that and to build a better life for themselves, whatever that may be for them.
Catherine, thank you so much. And you are a model of peace in action. So we're so grateful.
Learned it all from you guys.
Yeah. I love you so much, Catherine. Catherine was in the opening ceremony for Peace Week. Hopefully you saw her there. And so I'd like now to call on Katie. Katie Carr is one of our youth she is a representative of Pathways to Peace in the UN. She used to be a youth rep. So can you come on and talk to us, Katie? I have to ask you to mute. Unmute, I mean. There we are.
All good?
We're all good.
Good. So as Tez says, my name is Katie. I was a youth rep quite some time ago. A little bit out of that now. Tez initially asked me to run a training for Sylvanus and his group on FGMs, because I did do quite a bit of research into FGM during my graduate studies, where I focused on children's human rights specifically. So after, when she asked me to do that, I kind of said, definitely. I mean, that is the area of passion that I had, was educating people on human rights atrocities and abuses. And after doing the research to prepare for the training, I very quickly realized that, it's something that I've always been passionate about, and to get back into it would be nice to make a difference. So, when the opportunity lent itself to continue to work on the project, I jumped at the chance, doing mostly just social media for the shelter. But in doing so, I, got to speaking with Sylvanus quite a bit, seeing images and just hearing the stories of the girls. And it's just a rewarding opportunity. And, working closely with them, seeing all their good they're doing, it's been, great to be a part of.
And we're so grateful to Katie for so many things. She heads our social media team, but she is my right arm in just about everything we do here. So Katie, thank you, thank you, thank you for all that you do, and for your passion and commitment to girls and human rights. I would love to take questions, but I'm afraid we don't have time for questions. But I'm grateful to see people are using the chat to be able to educate all of us further, as well as ask their questions. And if you feel like you can answer the questions in the chat, please feel free to do that as well. We want to end a little bit early because we have another group coming in. They're very important, and we hope that you will stay and be a part of that group as well. So we not only feel that our story about the girls' shelter in Guinea has a happy ending. We know it has a happy ending. And we know that we're going to see those happy endings for those girls very soon. And so we hope to keep you abreast of all of those changes. The opening of the shelter is going to be glorious. Our partners in Guinea have created a song that they're going to sing, and there's all kinds of celebration. And I should say that all of our work with our partners in Guinea has been on WhatsApp, because they do not have access, their technology. They have technology, but their internet connectivity is not at all reliable. So all of our trainings and all of our connections have been on WhatsApp. And so they will video the celebration on Peace Day, and we'll get that video, and hopefully we'll have an opportunity to share it with you at a later time. There is much to celebrate here. And so, even though we had a happy ending to Fatima's story, we know that this isn't the end of our story. And so I'm going to bring David in for some closing remarks, and then we will end this time together. Thank you, all of you, for being here, for your support, for your love, and just know that we can make a difference, each one of us. And the difference that we can make with the shelter in Guinea is not only in the lives of these young girls, but we can actually end this practice in Kindia, Guinea, in one generation by providing this resource. And that gives us a whole lot of hope and inspiration. David, closing remarks.
As I said at the beginning, the theme of this year's International Day of Peace is peace in action. This is an example of that. And this is a significant example. And the reality is, when we do things, even a smile walking down the street to somebody, we have no idea what the ripple effect is, where that goes, how that touches, and how this is, in example, is touching the community and beyond. So we do what we can do, holding the highest and the best for all, holding love and compassion, and knowing that peace is the pathway forward for everyone. So thank you, everyone, for being together.
Yes, thank you. And if you'd like to step into our story, if you would like to lend your gifts, your talents to making this work, please know we invite you and we welcome you to be a part of our team to advance this important work in Guinea. Thank you for being here. And as David said earlier, please remember, each of you, you are a pathway to peace. And may peace prevail on earth. Thank you for being here.